So Biden's appointee went to school in Moscow and believes we should go to their system. How many of you like that? Say aye. How many of you think that's what we should do here in the greatest country on earth, the land of opportunity? We should move to a communist platform. Is that what we should do? How many of you say aye? How many of you say F that? Put in F that. I want you guys to comment aye if you think that's a good solution for the U.S., the greatest country on earth. Okay, or was, hopefully we never have to say that this was the greatest country on earth. I want to say this is and will be the greatest country on earth, but it's very difficult with shit like this happening out there. How many of you actually trade the markets and follow the markets? Can you guys watching what's been going on? It's up, it's down, it's sideways, it's up, it's down. Listen, if you understand price movement, okay, if you're actually a trader on TikTok, Instagram, or any other channel, and you understand price movement, you understand patterns, you understand trends, and you really can kind of boil that all down to one thing, it only spells one thing. We are at the end of a megaphone pattern. That son of a bitch is so tight. Like, just picture this, right? I don't care which channel you're coming at. This is the market. We're right here. So at this point, now what's going to happen, and mark my words, and October is usually a really critical time to watch this. The market's either going to break higher and going to continue to go up to the next level, or it's going to break lower, which you've been seeing all week long. It's testing these lower limits and these lower levels, but investor confidence is so good. The government is always there to print more money through modern monetary theory. I mean, hey, you guys need more money? Sure. Here's 3.5 trillion. No big deal, guys. We'll just keep that printing press running. We'll just keep buying bonds. We don't want the little whining baby called Wall Street to keep crying because, hey, we want peace. Well, peace in this sense of Wall Street means the bubble just keeps getting bigger and bigger, folks. And the megaphone pattern is going to prove what's going to happen. Even if we break to a higher level, folks, it's inevitable. The son of a bitch is going down faster than the freaking Titanic, and it doesn't even need to break in half because it's just going to be like a submarine, point that shit straight down and go down. I don't care whether you believe me or not, because I will almost promise every single one of you, I study this way more than you. And if you guys have ever read the book Outliers, it talks about professional athletes. It talks about Bill Gates. Why were they all so good? Why were they the greats, the legends? Time, folks. They put the time in. They had X amount of hours in studying. And folks, I do nothing but be a nerd and study history, study the market, study the patterns, read so much stuff on this. So if you want to argue where the market's going, let's do it, because I'm not going to argue when it's going to happen. I'm just telling you it's going down like the Titanic. So what comments do we have on that now that I pissed some people off? What stock should we invest in to protect during the crash? I don't think you should put money in any stocks, to be quite honest. We talk a lot about the safest places to put money are privatized banking policies, which are giant mutually owned insurance companies. Store your capital there. It's safe. It's guaranteed. And you still make uninterrupted compound interest. But maybe you're like, that's boring. All right, then do 20 or 30-year U.S. Treasuries. Buy TLT like a lot of the economists are talking about. Maybe you're a gold bug and you like gold and silver. Well, start stacking up on your silver bars and your gold bars. Like, hey, and maybe I'll come pay a visit to your house, and maybe your safe won't have any gold or silver in it anymore. And I don't mean me, but you just got to really pick. And the name of the game really is diversification. But I would be extremely cautious about having any money in any stock. And I'm being serious, folks. Like, I have a private hedge fund. You guys all know what a hedge fund is. Mine is very small. It's private. But how much money do we have in stocks? Zero, folks. We're investing in private companies like Cauliflower and in television. We're doing private deals that, I'm sad to say that aren't available to the public, but I don't have any faith in the market. My personal money, where is it? Privatized banking policies. Bar none. I got 7 of those puppies. All my money runs through those. And I got a nice little helping of TLT, which is 20 and 30-year bonds. So I hope that helps. Most people are like, no way. There's no way I'm doing that. Well, hey, to each their own. I'm not saying my investment strategy works for you, but my investment strategy is safe, cozy, comfortable, goes up a little bit every single day. And when the whole tank goes down, I'm going to be buying when you guys are selling. So, hey, pick a side, because there's always somebody buying and there's always somebody selling. It's just at what level do you want to do that? So anyway, off that one, let's get on to the next. What should we talk about?
Jameson brought something up. Biden is inviting nations leading banks to the White House, which goes right along with what you were opening up with. I'll share this real fast. But the nominee for the comptroller of currency, who controls basically the economy and all the banking system, she admires the Soviet economic system and thinks the Fed should effectively end banking as we know it. The Wall Street Journal went on to say that Biden's nominee to regulate banks really, really hates banks. So you tell me how that's going to pull out. But just to hear a little bit more, the Cornell University Law School professor's radical ideas might make even Bernie Sanders blush. She graduated from Moscow State University in '89 on the Lenin Personal Academic Scholarship. 30 years later, she still believes the Soviet economic system was superior and that U.S. banking should be remade in that image. So you guys think about that.
Holy F. Like, I've never heard that. I don't know if that's real or fake. Jason, who knows? I mean, that's the problem today. What's real and what's not? And we really need to decipher that. And we really need to make our own judgments based on our own due diligence.
This is all facts. This is all facts.
That's all fact checked?
Yeah, this is 100%.
All right, there you go, folks. So Biden's appointee went to school in Moscow and believes we should go to their system. How many of you like that? Say aye. How many of you think that's what we should do here in the greatest country on earth, the land of opportunity? We should move to a communist platform. Is that what we should do? How many of you say aye? How many of you say F that? Put in F that. I want you guys to comment aye if you think that's a good solution for the U.S., the greatest country on earth, okay, or was. Hopefully we never have to say that this was the greatest country on earth. I want to say this is and will be the greatest country on earth, but it's very difficult with shit like this happening out there. I don't know, man. Listen, like a lot of people are saying F that, F that, F that, impeach him. Like the problem is very evident, and I can't understand why anyone likes this lunatic. Listen, Trump or Biden, forget about either one of them, right? But we got to kind of just forget about the person, because Trump, he's an idiot too, like babbling mess. Like sometimes he just sits there and just digs his own damn hole. Like he had his own problems, but what one was the lesser of the two evils here, right? I guess that's for you to decide. But if we're really talking about the future for our children, our grandchildren, like I think we know where the problem lies. And I'm not getting political, but let's get right off of that one. Let's talk about.
I'm going to bring one more up here, Chris, because
let's see.
It makes you wonder when you start seeing this. Article just came out this week. Google was planning on starting to offer bank accounts to users, and now they're saying they're scrapping that plan.
Yeah, I wonder why. Is Google stupid?
Yeah, exactly.
We got a person being, brought in for the comptroller of the banks and the currency and the economy that hates banks. You think Google wants to open a bank? They were like, guys, we're just going to put this one on the back burner for now and just wait and see. Pretty smart of Google to say that. But listen, follow the signs, folks. Follow the signs. They're all over the place. Let's see. We're not the greatest country anymore. Somebody just said that. And, that's sad. That was Christopher, on TikTok. But how many of you, literally kind of feel that way? It's hard not to feel like the United States of America, the land that we've grown up with freedom, because of our veterans, because of our military, because of the young men and the men that fight for our freedom, that's why we have the greatest country on earth. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that feel that this might not be the greatest country on earth. But what is? It's not China. It's definitely, is it Europe? Is Europe the greatest country? Or which country, and it's saying Europe, but which country is the greatest if the United States is not? That's the problem. The United States is still the nicest house in a really, really shitty neighborhood, because the world is a shitty neighborhood. So it's tough. If you had to ask me, where would I want to go? Sweden, I don't know, some of those countries, some of those places, Sweden sounds pretty freaking good. I don't know. Just put me in a mountain, man. Let me snowboard. Let me just go out and have fun. It's tough. It's tough. I still, and maybe I'm an optimist, I still feel the United States is the greatest country on earth. And I still feel like there's hope, even though it seems like that hope dies a little bit every single day with the shit that's going on out there. How many of you agree with that? How many of you agree that every day a little piece of that optimism for this great country goes away? But we got to stop. We got to do something. And I mean, none of us really feel like we can do anything. How many of you feel like your vote even matters anymore? Say aye. Do you guys feel like your vote even matters? Because I don't. I feel like when I go and vote, it doesn't even make a fucking difference. Like, how many of you? That's sad. That's sad because I stand in that line for hours sometimes just to put my vote in because I still believe in this country and I still believe there's hope. And I will continue to do that just because that's the habit that I've created and that's the hope that I have. But does it really even make a difference anymore? Man,
all right. So there's a couple things going on. So first off, the president of Robinhood is being accused of dumping all his AMC stock the day before they restricted trading on AMC. So it kind of goes into the overall picture of what I want to go into right now, talking about some of the upcoming changes and what's going on with the market. But, I think right now, what's driving the market up is investor confidence, right, Chris? You say that all the time.
Absolutely.
What drives crypto? What drives the market's investor confidence? But I feel like the more and more that those kinds of stories come out of all the, it was just out how, Nancy Pelosi, how people are starting to mimic her trades because how does she always make such $1 million trades all the time? Like, how does she know
inside information, man?
Right. So it's inside. So as that kind of thing continues to happen, I'll pull up a couple other stories. Let me show you this one first. But as this kind of thing starts to happen, does that start to affect, let me delete the little advertisement there. But does that begin to affect investor confidence where that, along with everything else going on, starts to bring the market down? It all plays together.
There's so many red flags out there, folks. There's so many things just pointing to beware, right? Like it's almost like you're walking down a narrow aisle and everywhere is beware, danger, caution, everything's flashing in front of you. You remember the sign or the song, signs, and I'm not a singer. Everywhere there's signs. This is that time. The signs are everywhere. And people still, because of investor confidence and because of I'm just going to call it what it is, like the sheeple, you're just following everybody else. They're just herding the sheep into it. Like, it's just, I see it every day, folks. I see it more than any of you will ever have the chance to see it in your lifetime because we deal with thousands of people. And we see that, through 401ks, through advisors and everything else, everybody's still plowing their money in. It'll be okay. You're in this for the long haul. Ask anyone in 2009 that stayed in for the long haul, how that worked out for them. Now, maybe it worked out today, but how long did it take for them to get back what they lost versus somebody that said, you know what, too dangerous, too much risk. The risk doesn't, equal the reward or doesn't justify the reward. I'm out. How happy were the people that got out in 2008, even if it was during the first drop? How happy were they? You got to really just look at it from your standpoint and look at the signs and say, which direction is best for me, my family, and my future? And you then need to remember the basic rules, and they are buy low, sell high, and don't lose money. Warren Buffett's famous words, followed with, when others are greedy, there's a lot of greed right now, be fearful. And when others are fearful, 2009, 10, 11, be greedy. How many of you, and I know some of you are too young to remember this, but in 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, I feel like it went on for almost like 6 years. It seemed like every week Warren Buffett was on the news. And Warren Buffett was buying something else. He was buying this company at a bargain, that company at a bargain, this company at a bargain. How many of you remember that? Have any of you seen Warren Buffett on the news lately buying anything? Like literally, like ask yourself that. Is Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors of all time, buying anything? How about Ray Dalio? Runs the largest hedge fund in the world. He's got to be careful what he says because he manages China's money. But is he buying anything? Okay, Mark Zuckerberg, is he buying anything? No, he's selling. Bill Gates, what are they buying? Pharmaceutical companies. And you've all heard it, farmland. That's weird. But is he buying any stocks? No, they're selling a ton of them. The only stocks he's buying are ones in the industries that he is directly controlling in a roundabout way. Like, these guys aren't dumb. They've got access to information we could only dream of having. Some people would say that's insider information, just like Pelosi. You don't think she knows a thing or two that we don't know? Follow them and do what they're doing. If Pelosi's buying something, maybe research it. You know, if Buffett's selling something or Bill Gates is selling something, maybe you should follow the leader. And that's the wrong word. I don't want to say follow the leader, but follow the big money. Everybody else is just following the herd, the masses, and it's going to end up the herders are going to run those sheep right off the cliff. That's exactly what's going on out there. So I'm trying to start some controversy here because I know I'm pissing some people off. And
Chris, I'll get you going. Okay, so we all, one of the things we talk about at Money School is taking back control of your money, right? Because everyone wants to control it for you. And it goes the same way when it comes to a lot of stuff that we talk about. And let me give you an example here. It goes right along with what we were just talking about with the insider trading, right? It's all about who has control of the information, who can control the news cycle and what's going to happen that drive the markets, who's going to control the banking systems and how does that look? Because if you can control the banks, you control money. If you control money, you control everything, right? So let me ask this for everybody on here. Who on here right now has a self-directed IRA? Who has a self-directed IRA? Put SD in the comments. SD if you have a self-directed IRA, okay? And then I want you to answer this question for me. As you're putting SD in the comments, Chris, let me know if anybody has a self-directed IRA coming in. And if you have a self-directed IRA, now I want you to answer this question. Do you consider yourself super uber rich? Do you consider yourself a super, super rich person? What do you think? Chris, do you consider yourself super uber wealthy?
No.
But you have a self-directed IRA.
Yeah.
So according to the news and according to the media and according to the Ways and Means Committee and all the proposals coming out, you are uber wealthy, Chris. Everybody that has a self-directed IRA is uber wealthy, and we want to come after you and take that control. We don't want you to be able to do more. So look what they're doing. They propose this as attacking the super rich, but all it's really doing is saying the proposal would also block individual retirement accounts from investing in things that sophisticated investors do, like private business and real estate transactions. So how many of you would like them to stop you from using your SDIRAs for private lending and real estate deals, for buying rental properties, for investing in private businesses? That's what's trying to happen right now. You can see yourself rich.
Man, I'm fired up now. So listen, folks, the one thing I'm going to tell you, you are all effing up on, and you have been, not your fault, but this is the lie you've been told your whole life. You've been taught to give up control of your money. Self-directed IRAs, and I'm happy to see that a bunch of people here on TikTok and Instagram and on Facebook and YouTube have self-directed IRAs. That gave you the ability to take back some level of control of your qualified retirement plans. Now, the other thing is like, Stephen, you asked me if I feel rich or anything, and, they say they're going to come after me. Go ahead. You know where my money is? The same place all those super wealthy bastards up there have their money. I follow the wealthy. They're not coming after my money, man. Sure, maybe they might attack my tiny little self-directed IRA, but my money is in a place where all the wealthy have their money. They're not touching that one, folks. It hasn't been touched since 1913. You think they're going after it when Biden owns what we own? No. You see, they're going after the middle class, folks.
But they
keep saying tax the rich.
Right?
Tax the rich. Go after the rich. Like hurt the ones, the rich right here. The rich, hurt the rich. Go after the rich. Go after the wealthy. Folks, the wealthy are the ones saying go after the wealthy to trick your ass because they can't go after the wealthy. Why do the wealthy not pay tax? Is it because they do something illegal? No, they know something you don't know. They understand the tax code because they've hired the professionals to understand the tax code. They play right within the rules. It's called 1041 tax reporting. Don't get mad at Trump. Don't get mad at Buffett because he doesn't pay as much in taxes as his assistant. Don't get mad at, the Clintons and all these other, wealthy families. They're not breaking the law. They're playing into the way the law was written that you just don't know about because you haven't been given that information yet. They're not doing anything illegal. You just aren't using the same system that has been there the entire time since 1913. That's why they don't pay taxes. They're saying they're going after the rich for self-directed IRAs. Those assholes have self-directed IRAs. They're masking in literally, what would you call that? They're hypocrites. They're saying one thing and going after the middle class. Why would they want to do something with self-directed IRAs? What is the number one use for self-directed IRAs for the middle class that do have them like us? What is it? Real estate. Where is the middle class's wealth, the majority of it held, that the government doesn't control? Real estate. Why would they go after self-directed IRAs? Because they want control of the number one place the middle class has its wealth, and that is real estate. You attack self-directed IRAs, you immediately impact the ability for the middle class to self-direct their money into real estate in places where they can build significant wealth. And with wealth comes power in a certain level or control in a certain level. This whole bullshit, this whole game is about taking control away from you. The best part about this game, all of you can beat it. It's so freaking easy to beat this game, to beat all this nonsense. Take back control of your money. I'm sorry.
Today at 1 o'clock. Today at 1 o'clock.
You had to put me on mute or pause, but fuck, man, this shit pisses me off because you all can do the same thing they do. Stop blaming them and start following them. Damn, I said it. Oh my God, man, that just fired me up. Whew. Am I flush? Am I red, guys? Because I should be, because that's how passionate I am about helping all of you get control of your money and beating this shit, because it is a game. That's all this is. It's like a game of Monopoly. And how many of you played Monopoly? Wasn't it cool to win? Yeah. So let's win. And you can't win playing in the traditional financial literacy space. You can't win when you take your advice from people that are getting their advice from the top down, that is there to beat you and there to take control of your money. Think, folks. Think. Stop giving up control of your money. Change one thing and change where your money goes first, and that puts you in control of your money 100%. It takes and puts your money in a place that is private. The government just said openly, and you all heard this, they are going to start monitoring all transactions in your bank account over $600. Like, how'd that make you feel? That make you feel like they just opened the curtain on your shower when you're naked? It did. It's exactly what it feels. Oh my God, you get out of here. Well, they're following people into the bathrooms now and recording them, I guess. Who knows? Like, you can beat that. The privatized banking side, where all the wealthy have their money, that you don't report anything at the end of the year. Nobody asks. Nobody says, how much money do you have in your private bank? No, but they want to know every time you do a transaction over $600 in your traditional bank that somebody else owns. See what I'm saying, folks? Think. Just think.
One more thing. So I was just thinking here, right? So they're attacking self-directed IRAs, right? Because those are becoming more popular, but they can control those by changing one law. You notice that they're not coming after privatized banks. And if you don't know what that is, watch the video. We use a specially designed and engineered policy to be able to create these. But they're not coming after those, but they are making one change right now. So right now, for the last 30, 40 years, they've offered a 4% guarantee on your privatized bank compounding interest. That 4% guarantee is going away at the end of this year. However, there's another change within that law that's not as being talked about, that's going to allow us to actually put more money and get more growth out of our privatized bank. So think about this for a minute. Maybe they're eliminating the 4% guarantee because that's what the normal person sees and draws them to that. But for us, people that understand how this works, we already know how it works. I don't give a shit about the 4% guarantee. That means nothing to me. It might deter someone new and say, oh, well, I don't get a guarantee anymore. Well, I don't want to do this anymore, because they're still thinking old school. But somebody that understands it, these changes that they're making are a huge positive for us that do privatized banking. And who is doing privatized banking? Those are the truly wealthy people in this country, the Rockefellers, people like that have these privatized banks. So, they're always going to change the rules to benefit the super wealthy and hurt the middle class. And even if you're in the middle class or lower class, you can play with the exact same rules that the wealthy use. You just have to understand it.
Dude, well said. And I agree with you, Stephen. I think this change, although it's bad because now the insurance companies can lower the interest rate to 2% or 3.75. But you know what the other side of the coin is? By them doing that, they become more profitable. They're mutual, so they pay higher dividends, which are not guaranteed, but they pay dividends consecutively for 163 years. And we are at the lowest dividend scale ever in history with these insurance companies. Plus, we go back to party just like it's 1987 again, before the MEC rules, because we get to put a whole lot of money. I just was on the phone yesterday with an amazing human being. He just exited his company for $25 million. He's like, Chris, I don't know what to do with this money. I don't want to risk it. And I said, well, man, that's too much money to put into your private bank, because of the MEC rules, the IRS wouldn't let us. but maybe now he can put a big chunk in. I don't know. Just saying, I think there's some good changes coming for what we do. And I think when this whole ship goes down, I think a lot of people are going to be blowing our phones up saying, show me, how do I put money in this thing and still have access to take it out and get guaranteed returns? Those of you asking, because a lot of people are like, well, how do you put money in and then take money out and still earn interest on all of it? You got to watch the video. We don't have time to get into that.
Let's get into crypto and then, let's.
Crypto. We got a lot of crypto people. How many of you right now put your hands up and say I or yes? How many of you invest in crypto? Bitcoin, Ethereum, hopefully not these shit coins. And I love somebody made a comment on TikTok about the shit coins, like saying that the rest of 2021 is going to be the big coins. And I think you're absolutely right. And one of our experts who's on our 3-day training, Spencer, a leading crypto guy, says the exact same thing. He doesn't even talk about all these shit coins or small ones. He focuses on the big dogs and where they're going. So let's talk about that. So
we were down at 41,000 Bitcoin when we did this last week, and we were talking about let's trade within that 40 to 50 range. We had 55,000 on Bitcoin this morning, so almost a $15,000. What is that? 25% jump in the last week. So some of the in the know crypto people are telling me right now that we've now broken out of the 51,000 range. We're going to see if it's going to hold there or what's going to happen. So right now, today has a lot to tell on what's going to happen moving forward.
Well, here, I'm actually going to draw, and I just turned my TikTok thing here. I just want to show you guys what we're talking about here. Now, last week, we told you this, okay? Last week, we went on and we said Bitcoin, okay, and I'm only talking Bitcoin. You guys can do all your shit coins, your Doge coins and all that, but I was talking specifically Bitcoin. How I trade Bitcoin, just being an old school Wall Street guy. Okay, and I'm just going to keep it, I'm not going to use any of that Wall Street. This is your ceiling, this is your floor. Okay, so just envision this is a hard floor and this is a hard ceiling. So Bitcoin has, I think 4 months, 5 months, has literally traded between 40K and 50K. It has literally kind of just been like boom, 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 boom. It tests these limits. So we've got like 3 tests on this. And just right now, it's run to 55. Okay, just this morning, we're at 55. But it has been bouncing around this floor and ceiling. We call it support and resistance. But for those of you that don't know that, just think of your ceiling ahead of you and think of your floor. You jump, you don't go through the floor, but if you got a heavy enough thing and you jump enough times, you'll probably break down to the basement. Same thing with the ceiling. If you go up there with a ladder or a trampoline, you jump and you hit the ceiling enough times, eventually you'll go through. Same thing. 1, 2, 3. We probably even have 4 touches. And we probably have 2 on the downside testing the 40,000 floor. So I'm no genius with crypto. I'm not the expert. I am openly telling you not. But I am a damn good investor and I am a damn good rule-based investor. My rule for Bitcoin has been when it gets around 40. Now let's just even say 41. I follow the chart. When it gets around 40, I buy. Okay, I put 10 grand in, and a little bit into Ethereum, a little bit, 5 and 5. Just last week, I just did it. Literally, we got off of the live. I looked at the charts. I waited a little bit, and I bought. Didn't think about it. I bought 10 grand, and now it's at 55. I normally would sell at 50, but right now I'm following the velocity and I'm just following the heat. Now it's going to do one of 2 things. It's going to continue to run, or it's going to pull back into this range. So I don't know which one it's going to be, but with the market selling off a little bit today, Bitcoin has been directly tied or correlated to the overall stock market. So if the stock market's pulling back, there's a good chance we're going to come back down, because when it gets into the attic, okay, when you break through the ceiling, it gets up into kind of an area where there's not a lot of data. And it's like, I don't know, this is cool. It's a different surrounding, but I just don't know if I like this. And it could come back into this range. And it even could go back down and test the lower levels, which if it breaks down in that, it's going to create a buying opportunity in the 20s or 30s. That will happen, but it's not happening now. So how much money did I make on my investment of 10,000? Plus, I'm, again, old school. I love dollar cost averaging. How many of you understand dollar cost averaging? Every week, I put 200 into Ethereum and I put 200 into Bitcoin. Every week. Just automatic. I don't even think about it. Just 200 goes into each one. I buy high, I buy low, but over the long haul, I average my costs to be lower. I just do that because, hey, you're never going to get it right. And with dollar cost averaging, you limit how much you get it wrong. So that's what I'm doing, folks. pick your ceiling and your floor. We're already at 55, so is now a buying opportunity? I'd be cautious. I won't buy right now. Okay, and my dollar cost averaging I am, but I won't take any chunks and put in. But the average person, the sheeple, if you will, probably are like, oh my God, Bitcoin's going to the moon. And they're buying here. And they're probably, that's a dangerous proposition. They should have bought last week when it was here, or maybe even this week at the earlier range when it was maybe here. You're up in kind of, I don't want to say uncharted territory, but up in a territory that doesn't have as much data as this. I hope that makes sense, folks, because this is just investing 101. This is how I trade Bitcoin. How you do it, that's completely up to you. You guys are probably way more sophisticated. All these technical indicators and how you trade. Me, I follow price movement. That's it. And I trade the support and the resistance. There you go. Just look at that sucker. Like, folks, if I could draw on the screen right now, I would literally draw you a line. Listen, it's sideways, folks. It's sideways. You don't even need to be good at investing to look at that and just draw two lines like I just did. Draw two lines and connect the dots. You guys remember that when you were a kid? Teach your kids this. Be like, little Charlie or little Sally, like, let's connect the dots. And they start connecting dots on a chart. That's not hard. You will find your ceiling and your floor. The rule of thumb is 3 touches and 3 touches. So to create your lower floor and create your ceiling, that has to have hit it 3 times. So go through and just count. Like I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's so many that hit the ceiling. You get it? That's what you do. That's how I trade crypto and how I trade Bitcoin. How you guys do it is completely up to you, but it's worked pretty well for me so far. And I'm not the expert. So what app or company do I use to buy? I'm boring, man. I use Coinbase. I use Coinbase because of the bigger one. They report. I get a 1099 at the end of the year. Yes, I pay taxes on my crypto because I've heard enough horror stories from people that didn't, and now they're being audited. Man, you want to talk about the IRS going nutty over something? You've been playing crypto and making a bunch of money. They're coming for you. Just use a platform that has reporting. You can't beat the tax man. So play within the rules and beat the tax man the way the wealthy do. Learn 1041 tax reporting. Learn complex trust. Learn family trust to complex trust to foundations if you're paying over $100,000 a year in taxes or more. Otherwise, you're kind of not able to do a whole lot. If you're 1040 reporting, if you work for somebody and you get a W-2, the government loves you because you're bleeding taxes to them. Oh, but the government said they're only going to tax the wealthy. All right, if you like that video, make sure you check out this video right now. And also don't forget, subscribe to my channel and don't ever forget to smash that alert button. We'll see you on the next one.